Welcome again to Reconnect 2021 and to today's final panel discussion, which is related to the digitizing processes in real estate and construction. My name is Adriana Taskova and I will be the moderator of this panel. Before we start the discussion, which will be really interesting, I'm sure, I'd like to briefly present our participants today. On the right of me are Kamen Kaludov and Alexa Nevenova. They both present Webobook and BG Estate. Welcome. Kamen has a lot of experience in the field of real estate consulting services, and combined with his interest in photography and new technologies, he founded Webobook and BG Estate. And Alexa Nevenova is the manager of Webobook and is part of BG Estate. Webobook, just briefly to remind, is a virtual touring platform that allows users to create 360 degrees virtual tours of real estates. For example, hotels, museums, or just to show their businesses, and allows users to upload those virtual tours into websites. So welcome again. Our next participant is Lilia Buzilova, who is the co-founder of LLV Technology. Welcome, Lily. LLV Technology is a company that provides B2B software solutions in the field of property and facility management. It is a web-based building management system that helps property and facility professionals effectively to manage buildings, to do financial reporting and customer relationships. And our final participant is Georgi Demirev. Hello, Georgi. Georgi has a graduate degree in economic modeling from UPA Barcelona. He has worked as a data science consultant before he co-founded appraiser.ai. Appraiser is a platform operating with a vast amount of data related to real estate, from prices and listings to location and demographic data. The platform uses powerful machine learning pricing models which provide a fast, cheap, and reliable estimate for the price of any single property and present it in an understandable report. So welcome again to all of you. I hope that the discussion will be really interesting and helpful for the future viewers. So let's start with the first question. What trends do you see as a result of COVID-19 in your market segment or in the industry as a whole?
Okay, maybe I can start.
Yes.
Since we have a lot of data that gives us a broad overview of the entire market. At appraiser.ai, we work both with individual sellers and buyers, as well as large mortgage lenders. So we have a very good overview of what's happening on the market. And the market reaction to COVID, we can basically split it in two parts. First was the shock and awe part, when the market basically stopped, partly because of the restrictions. In many places across Europe, notaries were not allowed to work or make new transfers of property, but also it was a period of uncertainty both for individual market participants as well as mortgage lenders. So we saw banks imposing new restrictions, temporarily stopping mortgage lending. Fortunately, this was a rather short period in March and April, and since then we have seen the sector, mostly the residential sector, recover, with prices going back to their pre-COVID levels and continuing their steady growth, similar to other asset classes. Now, the same cannot be said for rental properties, where we have actually seen price decreases and longer time. It takes longer time to rent out property. For example, in Sofia, last year you could rent an apartment for 20 days. Now it takes more like 40 days. And the prices for rents have somewhat decreased. It's not a large decrease, but maybe in the vicinity of 3 or 4%. Moving away from residential properties and into commercial properties, although our company mostly specializes in residential, in commercial properties we see the biggest impact actually of COVID. Large vacancies, both of retail areas as well as offices. And for me personally, it would be interesting to monitor this going forward. I would expect that many of the trends that are related to remote working will remain even after the pandemic. So it will be interesting to see how the office segment reacts. And for retail, maybe we'll see a shift towards shorter term rentals and more flexible arrangements.
Okay, thank you.
Hello again, thank you for the invitation. As you said in the beginning, our product is a software for property management. Our clients are, let's say, 90% of our clients are operating and focused in management of residential building and gated communities. What we notice after COVID-19 appears, the first thing is that there is a growing awareness of the companies that are doing this business for usage of software solutions for management and mainly communication with their clients. The other thing is that there is very high and strong increase of online payments. And of course, the softwares that are on the market, they provide these services, and the companies didn't suffer because they cannot reach their clients personal. Other thing is that the end clients paid more attention to the activities of these companies. They become more active, and the proof of this is that in the summer-autumn period, there is a huge increase of the repairs and improvements in the building. Compared to previous years, these 3 months, summer-autumn, was a boom of repairings.
In order to gain more clients, maybe, or just
In
use
order
the
to
time?
maintain, and because the people, when we are stuck at home and we use these spaces more and more, we start to focus on what we can do to improve the environment around us. And this situation shows that this service, professional building management, mainly in Bulgaria, because it is a pretty new service in the last, let's say, 10 years, it shows that it is very important in the life cycle of the building. It is not just paying bills and that's all. For us as a company, and for our clients, because we can see the results, this pandemic, I can say, was positive. There were not lost clients or lost buildings, and very important that there is no increase of due amounts of to the companies. Even the paid amount during this period, because the people were home, they can easily reach by mail, Viber or whatever. The payments that the company received were much more than this period before. And I can say that it doesn't reflect in negative way. For me, it's the opposite.
Okay.
So I'm talking about Webobook.com, and this is virtual reality tours. We started with BG Estate, and it is aimed at virtual real estate viewings in Bulgaria. And our goal was to create a culture in the client and to impose a standard. Because our technology saves time, and also now with COVID and all the traveling restrictions, and not only that, the fear from connecting and seeing other people is real with COVID, as I said before, and we created Webobook.com. Our product now has the interest in our product now has intensified, and on the parts of not only the customer but also the broker. We also attracted larger real estate agencies who realized that this is the only way to go, this is the alternative. And now we just try to make it as real as possible by adding more tools and also developing more functions by using the new software technologies that didn't exist before. Um, we also added audio recording that is played while the broker is showing the tour to the clients. And aside from all of the negative effects of COVID-19, the virus pushed us to develop the platform in just a few months, because it was expected to be on not on the market, but to be known within 3 to 5 years, and it happened just in a few months because of the virus.
So to all of you, the virus actually has positive impact in
Yeah.
terms of your business, so which is good, at least in terms of the business. I'd like to move on to the next question, which is what technologies occurred as a result of COVID-19 in your field? Have you noticed some new technologies as a result of the virus?
Okay, maybe I can start again.
Okay, go.
So we work very closely with mortgage lending departments at major Bulgarian and also Eastern European banks in general. And we have seen some technologies being more widely adopted after the pandemic. So these are all technologies that have to do with digitalizing the mortgage process in broad terms. So things like digital document exchange, digital signatures, digital identity verification, have all been accelerated in their adoption. Also video consultations with bankers, and none of this is actually new or revolutionary. All these technologies were also available before the pandemic, but for banks, there are large institutions that they have a lot of inertia in their practices, so sometimes they need this external jolt to make them change what they're doing, and the pandemic has been such a jolt. More specifically in our field of expertise, which is automated appraisals and automated valuations, we have also seen an increased interest in fully digitalizing the appraisal process. And this is why we have bumped up our development of fully automated appraisal reports with no human interaction.
Okay. Lily, what do you think?
With our trend is to use the existing technologies more and to use them in the development of the product and new solutions which appears on the market in this situation and not only. Nothing new, but we are pushed to use what already exists and to make implementation in the product.
Was it hard? Do you think that was it hard in a way because Bulgarians are traditional in some ways? Was it hard for you to use new technologies and involve them in the process?
Yes, I do. In the beginning, before years, it was more difficult. Now, we as a company, our clients and their clients, they start to, the opposite process, they start to push us more and more because they expect more services and more technologies in the services and in the process, and this is a good push to us to develop more good things.
Yeah, that's great. Maybe from Webobook you have something to add about the new technology, as you already use some.
No, we don't use new technology. We just this is the technology that has already existed. We just promote it, and also the main thing is that we make it easier for our clients to use it by using the new software technology that is out there. So we're not using new technology. It was there before. We just promote it.
Okay, and in the right moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Which COVID-19 problems does your solution solve then? Maybe this time let's start from Lily.
Before COVID, during and after, our software is very specific and it's regarding this property management and maintenance. And it has not everything, but a lot of features and modules that help digitize to assist and the workflow of the companies. What we do is we are working, the software is web-based, as I said. All the people that working online in the real time. We have developed now many API communications with different payment platforms, accounting platforms, and different software solutions that the company are using in their business to be connected in one. And I can say that we do the same thing, but we are creating new functions and functionality, and our main focus is larger digitalization of all the processes of the company. And something very interesting, I will short, that this situation changed a lot the communication between the client, our client, and the end customer. And more than ever, digital communication like Viber, email, SMS notifications are using, and we have noticed that before that the clients didn't use their client accounts where they can see reports, information. Now they are very active, and this is the tendency we are following with creating new technologies for the product.
Okay, so appraiser.ai, we view ourselves mainly as a data analytics company and a data company, data first company. So the main benefit directly addressing issues arising with COVID was the access to reliable and timely data. Especially in the beginning of the pandemic, when there was a lot of uncertainty, our clients, decision makers in mortgaging, had to adjust their policies based on almost no official data. So we came in with our database. We have one of the biggest databases about real estate listings and deals in Eastern Europe. So we were able to provide a comprehensive view and help them navigate those uncertain times. Another example is appraisal validation. So this is something more specific that we do is when a human appraiser does a validation, submits an appraisal to a bank, the bank needs to validate it. And some banks use our software to do this. And now this is much more valuable because it's much harder to do it manually by a person because there is a lot of uncertainty, whereas our software leverages large amounts of data. So it is always up to date, and always these judgments are always based in the latest data.
Have you gathered any information, data for the real estate since the pandemic came, and can you say some conclusion about this?
Yeah, we have, and we constantly monitor, I think, 5 or 6 different markets in Eastern Europe. And I already mentioned some of these, but we have seen in the residential sector an initial glut followed by a steady return to growth. And for example, in Sofia, when it's all said and done, probably in 2020 we will see that prices have actually gone up by 4 or 5%, which is, considering everything, quite robust. On the other hand, we have rentals which have gone down. But yeah, we also in sales we see increase in the time necessary to sell property, but hopefully that won't last too much. Subjectively speaking, based on my conversations with people from the industry, most of them feel optimistic and feel like the worst is behind them when it comes to COVID and its impact on residential sales in particular, and they're quite optimistic for the current year.
That's good.
So our solution gives you the opportunity to view property anywhere in the world at any time on it doesn't matter which device, what device you have in hand, and there is no need for a physical presence there. It provides the opportunity for a real view on the property, and also there is a direct connection between the two parties with the new update, and there is the reason that you're not concerned about the traveling restrictions and arranging time with people if it's suitable for them, or just contacting with them presence to be present there. And also the property is always open for viewing, because the only things that you need is a device in hand, maybe your laptop or telephone or tablet, and the internet connection. That are the things that only need for viewing a property, and that's really beneficial nowadays.
Okay. What do you expect to change in the next year as a result of the pandemic? Which processes will be further digitized and how, in your opinion? Georgi, maybe you'd like to start?
Okay. Well, when we talk about, I'm again going to focus on the banking sector, which is our main client. And when we talk about banks, maybe not in the next year, maybe that's a bit too fast for them, but in the next couple of years, let's say, I expect to see further digitalization of the mortgaging processes. So talking to bank executives, both here in Bulgaria and abroad, they all seem to have the same strategic vision and strategic priorities. All of them are saying we want to have a fully digital mortgage experience. So the application, the approval, and disbursement of the credit, it should all be happening online with no interaction with a human agent, with no interaction with a bank branch. Now, this is still further down the road. I don't think in Europe there is any country that you can do this completely currently. But this is something that all of our clients and all of our bank contacts are working hard towards. And now, during the pandemic, they realized that some processes don't have to be conducted in person. And the next step is to realize that those processes don't have to be conducted by a person. And to automate much more and more of this process. Obviously, appraisals are one part of it, although not the biggest one and not the only one, but still a substantial part of the mortgaging process. And here we are working closely with some major institutions to fully digitalize appraisals and to make them completely automatic with the same level of interpretability and the same level of authenticity as a human-made appraisal report. And this is something that is technologically already possible, and it's just a question of adoption.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Really?
This situation is challenging for all of us. And we use it as a company for development and improvement. What we see at the market are changing in the needs and the processes, both legal also and operational. We expect that this will reflect very closely to us, and we are trying to be one step behind the requirements of our clients. And our aim is digitalization as much as we are able, and digital communication to make it very easy this connection, because this is one of the biggest problems in the business, that there is no good communication, reporting, accounting, and everything from the client and the end customer. And this is our aim, to provide digital processes as much as we can.
Okay.
So our vision for the next year is that this will become a standard, and will be mandatory if a trader or a business or a big company wants to stay on the market. Our subscribers are all over the world, and they share their suggestions with us on a daily basis. And by observing the process and seeing what the user shares, we think that this will quickly emerge from a framework of virtual reality only of real estate for business purposes. We think that many museums, hotels, restaurants, and all businesses will have a virtual reality tour of their property, and it will enter the more social sphere of things. And because nowadays many people share their experience, let's say about traveling, they go places and film all of that and they post it on social media, and um, because the technology is accessible and easy to use, and that is our vision for the next year, that everything will have a virtual tour view of the things, of the places.
Okay, great. I'm really surprised by the way that so much Bulgarians are eager to use that much online technologies, because my impression of the market here in Bulgaria is that many clients wants to see, especially real estates on place, and would like to communicate face to face to the owner or the someone who's selling the property. So I'm really surprised that all of you already achieved so much in this field, and I wish you really good luck in your future work. Thank you for taking part in this discussion. I think it was really interesting for me especially, and for the viewers of the channel. I wish you good luck, and of course take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.